guys, so after combing through and picking apart my kid's first game and making fun of it, I thought it would only be fair that I'd go back to one that I had as a child, that I grew up with. And it's a weird one. My first video game console was a Super Nintendo, and I had all, the staples: Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country 2, A Link to the Past, Miss Pac-Man, these staples. I've had my fair share of weird games that no one else had experienced, or at least rented or anything. So speaking of weird, this was my Super Nintendo. I know, not quite what you were expecting. It's a little smaller and a little weird, but I think the bulkier ones, to me, look a little weird. But at least the sleek little shell on this guy is the same color he was 20 some odd years ago. Can't quite say the same for the controller though. I also had some of those third-party controllers, but I didn't really have a problem with this one. The buttons felt weird and they were a little more bulgy, but none with those turbo controls on them. So I'm getting a little carried away here, so I've gathered you all here because I wanted to show you guys the one that's hiding right underneath that Ms. Pac-Man cartridge. Super Godzilla. Super Godzilla, because Godzilla just isn't super enough. If I recall, this was my introduction to Godzilla. I hadn't seen any of the movies before that, or maybe it was that Matthew Broderick film that we don't like to talk about. I was real little and the movies were pretty bloody, and boy, what an introduction. I never beat this as a kid, but that all changes tonight. Oh, listen to that. It gets me pumped up every time. Now let's game start. We got a blue heart monitor, and George Lopez says, "Godzilla, stand by. Okay, we are bringing him onto land at Osaka. We are told it's all up to you, and that various monsters are lurking in the cities." George Lopez continues to tell us that making Godzilla smash through buildings would injure him. Injure him? He's Godzilla. That's why we've prepared points for energy resupply? You mean you just went and planted nuclear power plants or power cells all over the city without any kind of permit? Didn't you need a permit for that? Oh great, an itty-bitty map. Amazing how much detail they got in there. I'd never paid much attention to that as a kid, and it's pretty accurate too. I would know. I played this first level to death. See? That spot right there is where the monster's going to be, that little pink dot right there. And we'll be that blue dot, or that'll be right over there. And I used to go this way when I was a kid, but I'm feeling spicy today, so I'll go this way instead. So now we're in control of Godzilla and have the theme playing behind us and a glorious view of our monster. And that down there is a dashboard. They haven't quite explained yet, and I think it's in the instruction manual. It's around here somewhere. But apparently this is our control box, and it's directly controlling the monster. See our energy? What direction we're going, time left, and how far away the enemy is. That blue dot is our monster. Moves around slowly, riveting. The water makes us move even slower, and the darker, deeper water makes us move even slower. Okay, let's do something cool and fast. Everything that's come out of my mouth thus far has been boring. I know you can smash into buildings, so let's see how much this actually injures Gojira. That's it? Fine. I see how it can add up, I suppose. It's forgiving. The yellow tiles are pickups, and oops! Yeah, sometimes they're warps too. And even more frustrating than that is sometimes the yellow tile does nothing but stop you so one of your friends can call you and shout things at you about what's going on in case you forgot. Sometimes they give you a helpful clue, but this maybe happens once or twice in the whole game. It just keeps repeating the same hints, and you can't tell apart any of the yellow tiles until you step over them. This isn't a big deal yet, though. Those blue tiles, on the other hand, give us energy for Godzilla. Or as I just default to saying health, usually. And I was always made fun of because I thought HP meant health points instead of hit points, but come on guys, I wasn't that wrong. You didn't have to make a big deal about it, but here we are, not even playing Magic the Gathering, and I just don't understand what... These guys are tanks, these are landmines, and these guys are big tanks. I can't tell if those are supposed to be rectangular rocket launchers or if that's just a tank with more cannons mounted to the front of it, and neither one of them sounds fun. The big ones hurt more and can hit you from a much wider radius, but once you get too close, they can't shoot at you, they just kind of wuss out. Don't know what that's all about, but fine. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Ooh, we're fighting King Ghidorah already? Just on the cartridge. Oh. These other buildings here, I've always interpreted as just really tall buildings that would just be too much hassle to bother trying to knock over, I guess, like these. But I'm being told that my signal doesn't reach that far. Okay, I understand that as a mechanism for keeping the player within the boundaries at that level, that makes sense, but you mean to tell me some lucky dude who lives or works in these particular buildings right here are fine because my stupid spotty reception on my AT&T network doesn't reach right there? Nonsense. Anyway, as we get closer to King Ghidorah, the music gets much more intense. I had to be like, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 years old. This music would get loud and intense and it never lets up. Talk about feeling anxious, man. I remember at the time I hadn't seen a Godzilla movie before, so I didn't know that these were just all iconic pieces that were staples of the franchise. I hadn't heard it before, and this game did not prepare me for the movies. We are now moving around Osaka Castle. Okay. Where? That one? I really hope it's one of those. But honestly, I have no idea if these maps had any kind of accuracy to their real-life counterparts. The enemy is close. Yeah, I noticed. Whoa. Cool. King Ghidorah. And listen to that soundtrack. Still intense and scary, and it can cool it down anytime now. Wait, you mean to tell me I'm getting a powwow with Larry David before fighting? Pray tell, Larry, what kaiju wisdom are you going to bestow upon us? The monsters both have ferocious fighting spirit. Cool. The stronger it is, the more the enemy attacks and the more destructive tech... Doc, you're gonna have to slow down. There's a monster, it's real scary, the music's real loud, and there's a lot going on, and it's gonna kill me, and I just you need to tell me how to use the buttons, you need to tell me how to just get it. Please stop shouting Godzilla at me. Okay, so basically you need to move over here, punch, then back up, press punch again when one of those thingies shows up, and look at this. This is pretty cool looking. It's got the anime lines and everything. Can you stop talking to me? I'm trying to fight. This tail whip just looks ridiculous, man. And I love the sprite detail, but Godzilla here looks more like he's going... Man, this takes a while. Maybe it did prepare me for the movies. So eventually, we finish him off, and oh my, his head popped off. You know, I vividly remember someone watched me play up to this point. I don't remember who it was, but they must have been like, oh god, there's dragon decapitation in my child's game. And stay out! Yeah! Wait, no. Aliens come and take King Ghidorah, and Dr. Larry David is going to study the remaining head. Brave. Looks like level 2 has us going to Mount Fuji, and Godzilla is there? But we have Godzilla! Oh boy. Now we got UFOs that look like electric toothbrushes coming to wipe away my cavities. One fire breath will take it down. That tile right there we need to take down, otherwise we'll never get to the boss. Okay, that's not fair. It takes a while to tempt him down, but the mothership won't be too troublesome. Oh! So now that the mothership is down, we won't be having any more random encounters from those. And as George Lopez tells us, the monster can't warp. He would never let us get in the same quadrant of the map. So I didn't mention before, but these pickups do different things. The green ones make you invincible, blue recovers some health, yellow recovers all health, and red makes the spirit gauge raise like crazy. Now I'm prepping because this is as far as child me got. This boss always killed me. Oh, it's Godzilla. Punch and boom, Mechagodzilla. I know, shocking. Somehow this didn't surprise me as a kid. This guy is a pain. Watch, if you hit him with a regular beam, he does this. And apparently that's called bouncing back. I really like the energy effects with the lasers and beams, all the sparks flying when I skid back. You can pause in mid-fight and see how much time you have left. That's neat, I guess. I'll have to dip on this fight at some point and re-up on health pickups anyway, because as you can see, Mechagodzilla is sort of broken. These monsters have fighting spirits, so then what's this robot's excuse? It doesn't have spirit or instinct, it has programming, C+ at best. How am I supposed to deal with this? He just keeps slamming me from across the field like it's nothing and I can't get in there. What am I doing wrong? See why Child Me couldn't beat this? Well, maybe I did beat him once or twice, but I didn't make it to the next boss, that's for sure. Everything after here is new to me. Now I gotta bail on this fight. But in order to do that, or even use your items, you need to press R to make the menu show up and use L to make your selection, or press R again to make the menu go away. Why these buttons? All 4 of the face buttons are punch. You know, in case you have a habit of panicking when you play video games and doing this. Okay, so now I'm fueled up and ready for more. Remember when I said the game didn't prepare me for the movies? Maybe they were trying to. Oh, hey there, I didn't know the timer was taken during the fights. I thought that only happened while I was out of the fights. I flinched. It happens a lot in this game, or maybe it just happens a lot for me. Well, I got 001 energy. What can go wrong, right? Got it. Oh boy, I'm dead now. This game over music always made me feel sad. And man, look at him. That's my fault. I did that. That's what I'm talking about. At least the game is forgiving enough to throw me back in at full 600 and kept his energy at where it was before I died. Boom. No more Mechagodzilla. You guys see how I didn't get past this, right? It's like a fighting game that plays like a slot machine. Oh, thank Godzilla, I recovered that life. I recall needing these a lot when I was younger. Doc David gets kidnapped just before he can finish his sentence. As you do. We've known that they have an Earth base. Of course, we gotta look out for these electric wires over here because Godzilla is weak to that kind of thing. See, I remember this happening much more often when I was a kid. You can strategically take down some of these towers to remove several cables, but we'll get to that when we absolutely need to. Godzilla, I'm sure, would be a sight to behold just stopping by, but imagine being the guy stationed right here who just saw Godzilla materialize out of nowhere. Bone chilling. Well, we know the dock is locked in a base, and there are some fake ones loaded with explosives. Great. Wait, you mean Godzilla just walked over it? Am I going to step on Larry David? He doesn't have to touch you. He just has to be close to you and you can develop cancer later. Or even melt. That's a lot of decoys, and this is getting old. This is starting to feel like Minecraft, sitting and slowly chipping away at these blocks, except from a top-down perspective. Finally, Larry David is too happy to see me. Remember that radiation thing I mentioned earlier? I mean, on the other hand, if you're being rescued by Godzilla, who's gonna mess with you? So Biollante is the monster we gotta fight. Secretly raising him underwater? I think you mean her. She's might as well be a mad scientist's daughter who died or was severely wounded in a bombing of his laboratory. She got her cells fused with a flower, and then that flower got fused with Godzilla's cells because it was going to burn down because of a volcano, and then the Godzilla cells made it a giant flower, and it's the whole thing. So I'm pretty sure that's really insensitive to just be like, oh, that boy monster over there. That's kind of insensitive to a man that lost his daughter, don't you think? Oh man, There she is. Oh god, no, why is she so veiny? I feel like I have to censor that. Okay, take out the feelers, no body slams, acid sap, hurts, got it. Feelers down. Oh boy, is this a tough one. She keeps body slamming us and squirting her acid all over us, and geez, that does take a lot of health away. Yikes. I love this full blast portrait of Godzilla. That always feels good to pull off. She's finally down. Sorry. I kind of feel bad now after going over her origin story. So yeah, Larry wants to make Godzilla stronger and hold more energy. Oh, technical Godzilla specs. Energy gauge goes up, or I'm sorry, energy gauge. How am I supposed to pronounce that? So now to Yokohama Bay. Our base is under the diet? Batra's on the loose. Let's go tackle Evil Mothra then, I guess. Okay, we can't use body strikes on Batra. I kind of saw that coming with all this UFO fighting, so you didn't have to tell me that. But, oh well. I wish I could tell the difference between all these yellow tiles. It's pretty deceiving because some of them give you energy immediately, like the blue ones, but not as much. And now I'm just wasting them. If I knew they were going to give me health, I would have walked around them. I always wondered if I could kill the mothership just by walking into it. That was satisfying. Time for Batra. Oh, you're kidding. I have to fight him with hyper breath only? Regular breath won't do the trick? That's BS. At least when you do in fact get the hyper breath, it does tons of damage. And thankfully regular breath doesn't bounce back like it did with Mecha Godzilla. Stay persistent and he goes down like the rest of them. There's a cocoon? Oh, I don't want to deal with another Batra, but I'm not sure I can handle taking all the tanks and going the long way. Plus, I wasted a lot of time on that last fight. Better go across the water. There's the... That's not a cocoon, guys. That's a larva. We're gonna ignore that that's a larva. Now okay, that was... Whoa, that was fast. That's already hatched. Okay, never mind. We're fighting another Batra. Imagine being that guy on that Ferris wheel. I should have stayed home today. Alright, Tokyo and Mecha King Ghidorah. That ought to be tough. Wait, we can go Super Godzilla? Just like on the cartridge. Oh shit. You mean they didn't name it after the Super Nintendo? Wait, the aliens took the head of King Ghidorah right out from under Larry's nose? You mean the one we had in our possession? How do you lose a giant dragon head? He probably hid it under the diet. Larry, you had one job. Gotta get those 3 S's and I'll go Super. And I gotta do it before we hit 50% destruction of the city? Okay then. So there's a sense of urgency here. We're already at 5%? I guess this is telling for how much time I have. Jesus, this doesn't let up either. We get our 3 S's and... Oh my, he's beautiful. This is Super Godzilla. Super Godzilla. Larry, you madman, you've ended us all. Extra teeth, extra thick, extra everything. The health bar goes all the way across the screen. 900 energy. Tanks don't hurt me anymore? Awesome, but I'm running out of time. I sure hope that me tearing down these buildings to get to the boss doesn't count towards that percentage. I'm not left with much other choice, though. 50%. Game over, huh? No? What? 55%? We're done now, right? No? Never mind. Doesn't matter, I guess. I'm not gonna argue with it. Oh yeah, hit me with that cyborg Hydra. Where's Mecha King Ghidorah? Apparently I need to select my attack quickly. I can do that, I can just tap the button right after punching. That's all I've been doing this whole time, except for when it forces me to wait. So now they're telling me not to even wait anymore. Oh, just look at that sprite work. And the portraits in the window have all changed. Tail whip? Oh, nobody's gonna laugh at you anymore. Well, never mind. Where's the explosion? Even the body slams are impressive. Look at that football player pose. Oh, what? I got a super punch? I see why they didn't give this to me until much later in the game. Super Godzilla looks much more ferocious, and changing the color of his breath looks so cool too. Well, we took him down pretty easy. I like that battle didn't feel too hard. It's like a reward for getting through all this torture. We take him out in no time at all. Level finished. That felt too good. Not over yet. Okay, I'm not super anymore. And what's with this flesh ball that looks like it belongs in Doom Eternal? Bagon? Bagan? Well, I guess that's why the damage percent didn't matter in the end. There goes Tokyo. Larry, what do you mean fend him off until you get back? Okay, go find the Doom Sphere, I guess. Not the final boss I had in mind. No, that's better. I didn't expect a Satanosaurus Rex to be the final boss, but I guess I'm not surprised. I really like how he's so much bigger than Godzilla, and this seems to be game over for me. This is all fake tension, though, and I don't mind it playing games with me this far. It's like the game developers are saying, bud, you deserve a fun ending. They sweep in and save you at the last minute just as all looks hopeless, as Bagon is actually too much for Godzilla to handle. The unstoppable force of nature met his match. Apparently Bagon is scared of a ship, a little airplane. Super Godzilla is back, and the fight is fair now. Ow, stop it. Well, I tried to, but even with Super Godzilla, I'm just barely edged out. No death sprite for him. Only slightly disappointing, but they probably didn't expect you to die as Super Godzilla, and that just made me feel much worse about what I did. But holy Jeebus, look at all the lives I accumulated. I really expected to see this screen much more often. Ooh, I was hoping I would get to use that move before beating him. Look at that. Can we please see this in an upcoming Godzilla movie? And the Ultra Ancient Beast is defeated at last. That was a rough one. This monster was actually imagined all the way back in 1980 and planned to appear in a Godzilla movie that ended up not releasing. And he was proposed to debut in another movie, and then another one, and then eventually this game. The only other thing that he's in is in some other PC game that's more of a virtual studio tour. So I guess that makes this game his only in-universe appearance. Super Godzilla would go on to never appear in a movie either, but who knows, maybe the two will be back facing off on the silver screen in the future. So we've destroyed the control box, and apparently Godzilla just goes back to his home underwater. I like how there are subtle calls to the game over music here. This churchy sounding song, though, always made me feel kind of sick as a kid. I would sometimes mess with the sound test in the options menu, and that's how I'm already familiar with it, because, like I said, I never got this far in the game. Now that I've finally beaten this game, I'm really glad that I've shown it who's boss, and I've gotten to see what's past, what's beyond the second level, what I couldn't get past as a kid. And now that curiosity is gone. I don't know if I'll ever play this game again, but I'm glad I gave it one last shot. And if anyone else remembers this game, please let me know. Comment down below if you remember this game. Did you like it or not? I'm genuinely curious. I've only seen 2, maybe 3 YouTube videos at all that mention this game or are about it, and the general consensus is all the same. It's hard, convoluted, and it doesn't make sense, but it's strangely memorable. And if you learned anything from watching this today, just know that King Kong doesn't stand a chance.